Hello and welcome back to game number 89 of this tournament. France under 19 men versus GB under 19 men, with GB playing in black and France in white. For GB we've got Will Tarling, number 5, and Alex Stuckey Howard, the number 11, sat out this game. It looks like France are going to win this strike. They're going to take it to try and take it to the near side wall. But GB's number 6 was there to stop it. We had an infringement. It's going to be a foul by the French. There's going to be an advantage puck to GB. GB are going to take this and try and flick it straight through the middle. And it looks like they're going to make some progress here. With Declan McNulty trying to flick the puck through there, but there was no one there to receive it.
Alright, I'm all plugged in and ready to go. Got a good match coming up, Hayden, I think, with a 3-0 scoreline where GB managed to have a very dominant second half performance and go through the phases to win in a couple of days ago in this group. We'll see if they can replicate that, because the French were looking very good up until they conceded that first goal and then sort of buckled in the first goal in that first game.
Yeah, it was a very close game, and I think France could take this one if they're awake this morning at this early time. But GB will not want to losing another game. Yeah. So they can be as high up in the group as possible.
Yeah, currently lying in 4th because of the head-to-head loss yesterday against the South Africans in the group. Because they have conceded less goals in the tournament. Head-to-head result going against them, but they will get another chance against that South African team. Meanwhile, the French execute the backline switch, moving from right to left, and they continue on the attack down the pool.
GB have won it back now, and they're going to try and take it underneath the coaches. It looks like they're still making progress there with numbers on the bottom.
Yeah, good drive by GB. That player turning though and the support wasn't there, so the French pick it up. The boys are trying to pick it out from underneath their bodies as who looks like Ben Morgan goes up, but only to get a better view of where the puck is. He stays down and shepherds the puck from right to left and stops the French going forward. Good work by Ben Morgan there as GB continue to attack now down the right hand side. Still going, driving into the corner. They want to keep it out of there just a little bit, so they've still got some room to work. GB have been drawn into quite a few fouls down the back wall, advancing with the glove in stick fouls, trying to just force the puck into the goal. So they really need to just watch what they're doing as we have a stoppage on the surface.
Yeah, it was a really good bit of play there from GB, just driving down that back wall. Puck seemed to just continue to move until clearly a GB player.
And Kai Parking being pulled up there for an illegal use of his free arm.
It's a great swim there by the number the number 8 Ben Morgan there to cut out that swim from the French player. Got a foul. It's going to be an advantage puck to the French.
Advantage puck by France. Players going down to the right. GB defense stopping them there straight off the strike. Good work by Jake Charnock and Tom Nuttall.
Declan's going down this near side wall. I'm going to flick it to the inside, but there was no one there.
Might have been illegally stopped there. Let's see which team this goes against. Yeah, illegally knocked down by the French. So as Declan tried to flick the puck through to his teammate, it looked like he'd caught it just on the fingers of how he holds the bat. Here goes Declan, the screen, the curtain, whatever you'd like to call it, down in good time today. One of the problems yesterday was Declan was down before all of his teammates and they weren't quite set. moving through, and this goal's not going to count. We have had a stoppage on the surface of the water. And this one's going to go against Great Britain. France will have the puck on their 5 metre line. GB pushed back to the 8. You can just see a very thin black line in between the two main lanes, and that's the 5 metre line where the referees know that the puck shouldn't be in that area. If it's being reset for an advantage puck, 5 metres away from the back wall and 2 metres off the side walls. France trying to go straight through GB, a very wall dominated game taken on by the French, as Ben Morgan is stripped in possession and play goes out wide.
A lovely tackle there by the French to regain possession.
Yeah, some of the back tackles are, really great to watch when the person in possession of the puck is just taken off guard because they're looking for a pass, and then out of nowhere a back tackling forward comes.
The French play some really good hockey here. Can't get a drive in, there's no one back. It looks like the GB player's just going to push him out wide.
There's going to be a signal here by the referee though, I think. Advantage is being played by the referee on the far side.
GB are going to want to keep this puck in the corner so they can reset, but there has been a foul. It's going to be a penalty to France.
I did think that player coming across the goal, it didn't look like the British defender, whoever it was, had the speed to get him, and he just sort of had his stick in the way. He was sort of pushing on the back of the French player's stick whilst you're in full flow there, and obviously because he was pushed out to the side of the goal. I am surprised it's not a penalty goal in a way, but again, referees having a better view than we do. French player's down. Declan, it's flicked to his right hand side. He stops it on the corner of the goal. Can he clear it? There's a stoppage.
The referee's going to give the goal.
Yep, so looked like the puck just hit the back wall in the right place. It didn't necessarily drop, but it hit the back wall of the goal, and Declan was then able to push it onto the edge, but the referee's in good position to see it. And
GB are going to take their time out here.
Yeah, well spotted, Hamish. Whilst they do that, we'll go and have a look at the at GB's previous fixtures. So as we can see at the top there, an opening 3-0 loss to New Zealand. The boys are very excited to play that match again because they really do believe that they can be more competitive and score. It wasn't a very one-sided game against New Zealand.
No, they put a good fight. Trying to keep the score down to 3-0.
And Bertie Telling's definitely, after seeing these boys in action so much against other teams, he's getting more of an idea of whose game is suited to what style and when he can best rest players. As we go through, we've got the win and then the draw against Spain. That could be costly coming later because it put them level with South Africa. And then the 3-0 victory previously against the French. So GB are going to have to come behind after conceding now.
There's no rush to score here for GB. Still got 8 minutes and another half of hockey to play. Need to stick to their game, and I've no call there, but looks like I hit the GB player in the chest.
Sometimes you have the hardest decisions to make of those straight off the strike because you're in a position to see the start of the game, but there's no. You just never get in the right position to be directly behind somebody on that strike. You're always looking at it from an angle, and it's very difficult to be able to say exactly what you saw because referees are told you can't speculate, you can't think that just because you saw something, that's what it was.
This is going to go in favour of GB.
Players moving in for GB, the referee allowing them time as it's their advantages. It's taken and flicked forward by Kai Parkin. Kai Parkin curls, flicks it wide right, over goes the bat of his GB teammate, and France take it away over to their subbing side wall.
Yeah, I was disappointed that free puck. It popped him straight back out to Kai, but then Kai's pass just not making it to the GB players.
He did his first job well, making sure he stayed down and waited for that to make sure if the puck came out the back, he had to control it. But then the follow-up, just a bit of a disappointment. You've done all the hard work, now you've just got to keep possession, and he sort of rushed a pass and overshot his teammate. And now, following that, France are putting together a good counter-attack and wall drive.
Brilliant tackle there. GB have not got the same numbers as the French down.
Now there's a bit of space to swim. This player needs to go, and he's looking around for the support, and he's just flicked it straight to the other bat of the Frenchman. And I'd like to see him go a little bit faster there. You know, you're in your defensive end.
No, it was the vice captain Caleb Poole, and he definitely had a chance to swim there, and he didn't take advantage of it.
Sometimes those big swims can really change the the mindset of your own team, because you see someone putting in such good effort and being able to go, it properly, it bigs you up to say, like, oh, I need to be there, I need to keep up with him. And that French player looks like he's had a hit to the face, and they're going to take a referee's timeout to discuss it.
To me, it looked more like his shoulder than his face.
Yeah, it's still a dangerous flick, unfortunately, and I suspect Kai Parkin will be going to take a seat in the sin bin. But we'll just await and see as the referees discuss, because it's the referee who was out looking at the play on the wall side, and it's very hard for him in that position to see where it's being gone and needs to be hit. And it was definitely Kai Parkin who, I think it was Kai Parkin who took that.
It was Kai.
And number 4's now made his way out to the side, and the referee smartly speaking to the captain, saying, I want your player who took the free puck to go out, and they've identified it as number 4, but Declan wasn't even in the pool when he took it. And discussion between the referees to say, like, I don't quite understand why Declan's the guy being sent out. We've got a referee from New Zealand out the back who would have seen which player that it was.
And it looks like they're sending out a different player now.
So out goes Isaac Rhodes Dawson into the sin bin, sponsored by Manchester Underwater Hockey.
No, I'm not quite sure what happens there.
Yeah, and he's got 2 minutes. So total bemusement. I do believe it was an unsportsmanlike conduct call, but I was expecting it to be the
flick from Kai Parkin.
Yeah.
We've already had another stoppage.
Possible breaking foul? No, obstruction against the French, or a barge in there, and they'll get pulled back, and there'll be a GB advantage puck. So nice that they had a quick stoppage there, because Isaac's penalty doesn't start until the start of play, but then continues to tick down, and he's already taken 30 seconds off the play, and now a referee's timeout.
I think we've seen some good moments from GB in this first half, but I don't think they're at the best yet.
A lot of discussion between this refereeing group. We've got one from New Zealand, one from Canada, and one from Turkey, just having a discussion. A nice refereeing group, knowing the people that's in there, but choosing an event, I think it's an Argentine referee who's the chief official, and maybe a second foul on the play being discussed here. We are hoping that by the time the finals come round, we're going to be joined in the in the commentary booth by an off-duty referee who will be able to possibly be linked up to what all the referees say to themselves on there, and get the official call for after a player's been sent out, because it is hard to know from this position, exactly what's happened. We only see one angle from the cameras, and the little discussions that they have. It would be nice to have that explained to us in a good way. So we're working on that for you for when it goes down to one court, because until then we don't quite have enough systems to pull that off. And another stoppage as Isaac Rhodes Dawson penalty goes down, and we've got 30 seconds by the French player.
The number 3 Toby Kill's going to take this with a nice flick down the wall, and he's got Tom Nuttall there, and he's going to try and drive it himself. But it looks like the French player's popped out to him. The number 5, Romain Raoul, had a stoppage in play. Oh no, that's the other pool. Sorry. Or continuing. GB are going to switch it to this far side. With Isaac having 30 seconds so he can get back in, but the French player's back in the pool now. Good play by GB there, taking it wide again. Looks like France could get a chance down the middle here, but GB have recovered it in tons of space. But GB have lost possession there. The French are going to go for this. The French have still got the puck. But GB have got numbers down here. I've got a foul. It's going to be an illegal use of the free arm, so it's going to go against GB here. With 3.5 minutes of the half left. The French will take this. And GB did not look like they were down there, but they've managed to stop it. And all 12 players were down there. The French has just done an under body flick, but there was absolutely nobody there, and GB have a chance to get away now. Matthew Dawson now on the puck. He's trying to get it to Jackson Spry, and he's taking it to the wall. And Carl Parkin is going to try and drive it, followed by his Yorkshire and Batley teammate Ben Morgan.
Stopping in play as we have 2.5 minutes left on the clock. And it's going to be GB pushed back. Sorry, France pushed back, and a GB advantage is it's taken quickly by Declan McNulty, the captain.
France doing a good tackle there. They're going to try and take it down to this wall. The number 2's got it, but Kai Parkin was there ready, but French got numbers down.
Good little use of the puck under the body move called the windmill, a half windmill there, picking it up from the back and bringing it forward and out to the left, and very effective, but the follow-up play by the GB defence just shut down the move shortly after it started. And a good little break for GB here to try and finish the half in French territory. Just stop.
And the wall's it's coming down the back wall now.
Just don't try and drive it.
And France are getting a good chance now, but GB are going to take it to the corner with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. But we've had a call here, and we're going to have a referee's timeout to discuss this. Not quite sure what the referees are discussing here, but they're taking their time. Could we see another GB player sent out here? The call is going to be obstruction by GB, and I believe the number 2, Declan McNulty, is going to be sent out. It's going to be a real shame for GB in the this last minute coming up. Being down to 5 and losing arguably their best player in this tournament so far. The number 6 Tom Nuttall there trying to keep this puck on the wall. Well, GB have lost the puck there. But we had another foul. And it's going to be in a GB advantage puck with 40 seconds left on the clock. GB going to have to be quick here. Toby Kill taking this. He's tried to flick it through. Just popping out underneath him. But Kai Parkin's there just to clean up and take the puck back to the wall. And a nice back flick there by Kai, but the French were there to stop it. There's only 10 seconds left and we're going to have another foul, which will see us to the end of the game. We're going to have a referee's timeout now. And he's calling over the Toby Curl. And the ref's not happy with something he did there. And number 3's got a warning for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Swap directions, yeah. You just try and feather it and then fire it up. Because what's happening is when you do that and that, the cable throws a sort of like a load webbing out.
And it's going to be called time, I think, by the referee.
This out, you can just feather it slowly. And then once you
So it's going to be half time.
go faster in one direction.
And the score is going to be
Try not to jump it backwards and forward. But,
1-0 to France in this first half.
so yeah, if you just try and power it, all go now, just power it slowly to get it going.
Hasn't been a great start to the game from GB. They've had a couple of chances going up the back wall for the French, but I'd say the French have learnt the lesson from the last game and going at GB. What do you think, Lewis?
Yeah, I think the French started very similar to the way they did in the first game, but the difference being here that they were able to convert on one of their drives, and you know that changes the entire complexion of what the French have to do. The French are a very good team at defending a 1-goal lead. Like the French women's elite team, they won the European Championships this time, and they just scored 1 goal and then were able to defend through their style of play. And it's easy to try and control the game when you're winning than it is to try and get yourself back into the game, as they proved yesterday, because during that time where they had to come back, you've got to change your game style, and they changed their game style too quickly, coming straight out the gate. And the thing that mattered then was they came out too hard, they left too much space, and GB managed to beat them by swimming all the time.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see something similar here by GB. I think they're going to need to get a quick goal in first and then just continue trying to play their game. Hopefully get Declan McNulty back in the pool soon.
So 30 seconds until this match in the men's under-19s division between Great Britain and France is underway again, and France go into the second half with a 1-0 lead, but a perfect time for Bernie Tarling to speak to his team and tell them exactly how he wants them to play in this second half, as he used his timeout straight after the French scored their goal. And we'll just see how GB come out, because they need to go hard, but they need to make sure they don't make the same mistake that the French team did 2 days ago. French getting to the strike first and moving the puck forward nicely. Flick wide left by the GB team as they try and counter. Good stick tackle there by the French centre. Stoppage in play.
The call's going to go against GB for obstruction.
But Declan McNulty got in before that stoppage, and that means it's 6-on-6 hockey once again. Ready, and off we go.
GB have looked like they've won this puck back. They got a chance to drive it down that back wall underneath their subspin.
Yeah, it's a poor drive by the French. They just played that puck straight onto the British sticks as they knocked it down, and then were able to take it wide. French still trying to work and get the puck out the corner. They recycle it down the back wall, underbody move, flick to the centre. Good recovery by GB player coming down to deal with that then as they take it to their defensive corner once again. The French coming out really strong in the second half, getting straight down into GB territory, looking for a second goal. Stoppage in play.
It's gone against GB, so it's going to be a French advantage puck. They're going to take it quickly with no GB players down.
Yeah, could that be costly? No, not quite, because the French, other than the puck taker, the French weren't down either, so the good work that was done by the person being down early didn't make up for the fact that these GB players were down so late, and a good knockdown by the stick of the GB centre and then just take it straight to the wall. That's the right thing to do, but poor execution there by the French. You know, GB should have been punished and probably been 2-0 down there.
Yeah, lucky for them. The players restarted and GB going to drive it down the far wall, but it's popped out into the middle with the French. It's a good little drive there from the number 8, I think. GB have got a good chance here, pushing the French back.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a stoppy-start game, this. The French player's been sent out for 1 minute for obstruction. He makes his way to the sin bin.
It's going to be the perfect opportunity for GB. Advancing into the French half and having the 6v5 power play.
Declan McNulty down and set. The GB team going well past the line set by the referees, and the French electing to go down behind them and stay behind the curtain rather than put themselves between the puck and Declan. But effective drive so far by GB. You have to not be too carried away and over-eager. They need to just go through the phases, drawing the challenges by the French, because they've just illegally moved the puck forward. And when you get so far down the pool, if you make it down to the back wall over 2 metre area, you don't just lose 5 metres, you lose 8 metres, because the puck gets placed on 5 metres away from the goal, and then you've got to your team has to be another 3 metres further back. So a lot of the time teams don't sort of realise the effective. If you can get into that area, if you can make sure that your team does not foul, you know, you're going to have better chances to convert, because things like illegally advancing the puck and stick infringements, it's all.
It's going to be a foul here.
Yeah, and it's going in GB's favour.
I thought I saw that headshot there, but I didn't see the call coming very quickly. But Declan looked like he just got hit in the head and just played on. He didn't care.
Yeah, referee's timeout as the referee looks for the player responsible.
It's only given up for 2 minutes now. So it's back to being a 6v5 power play for GB. GB getting down early here.
Yeah, the French hovering mid-water, as you can see by the picture. Long time to.
French popped out there. They've got a chance to swim with Kai Parkin struggling to get the puck there.
Yeah, just needs to be smart there, Kai, and not get drawn into a challenge. And just there, you can see him. This is going to be gloving against Kai Parkin. One of the biggest faults of this particular player, if it is that.
Yeah.
There was 2 different fouls on the play. The first one was stick infringement against Kai Parkin, and the second, the illegal use of the glove on the wall by Kai Parkin.
He can be a good little player when he's not using his glove.
Yeah, and the biggest problem is the fact that when he ends up on that right wall as a right-handed player, it's like if the puck touches your glove then it's like, okay, the referees can say, like, I'm now expecting you to turn your hand over, invert your stick, and play the puck to the best of your ability with your stick. And because Kai doesn't, he's like, I've got the puck on my glove, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to go push all the way down the pool. You know what?
A GB timeout here.
You know what? It's going to be a really tough sort of move. Ten seconds till we get underway, and the French will have the advantage puck to restart the game. And off we go to flick forward.
Changes down the puck, but he doesn't win it, but it's popped out onto the wall. Declan Minogue's got a great chance to swim here.
Yeah, he does, and it's just not come off that move. But then poor clearance by the French puts Matthew Dawson on the puck.
Could have done better by ripping it off and trying to lay it back.
Yeah, the French now are just going to hold it out in the corner, and we'll see what the call is here.
It's going against the French.
Yeah, the corner rule, so
we have
delaying
40 seconds till the French player rejoins the game.
Yeah, so the corner rule being the main infraction when you're delaying the game, so it is a delay of game penalty. GB laying across the line, allowing the French player to come through so they don't draw a blocking foul. Felt the pressure and just moved, and as it goes down the back wall, it's Matthew Awesome Dawson pushing it in, but it's not going to be a goal because this is going to be a gloving call against Matthew Dawson. It's
by both teams, I think it's going to be an equal puck.
Yeah, that's an interesting call in that situation. You'd feel like there's one person doing it more than another, because if I guess if there's two gloves on it, then it's the only thing to do. But it's an equal puck, and for the moment, that player being underwater. And
great tackle there by Jake, but he just couldn't get the puck there.
Yeah, just loss of concentration there. The players, the French knew exactly what was going on, but the GB team thought they were, because it was against them and it got moved to 5 meters. They thought it was an advantage puck to France. They pushed way further back. You see bodies dropping down to the bottom, and on an equal puck, you have to start on the surface. All players. If anybody goes underwater too soon, it then becomes an advantage puck to the team that started correctly, or against the team who broke and went under the water too early. So another example of a breaking foul, and just nobody knew what to do. When they came up, the buzzer went and nobody went down. Play on the far side, moving in the direction for GB again. After the initial pressure was given by France coming off the opening strike of the second half, GB have done well, and they've really put the pressure on France, but now they've got a chance to break the French on the 45 off the wall. Obstruction against France, so GB are going to have 6-on-5 once again. We'll just see what the French do here. Don't be surprised if once we get going in the first 20-30 seconds, you see a very little niggle by one of the French players. Just something that draws a little stoppage to the game, nothing serious enough to get out, but then the time for the guy in the penalty clock will just slowly run down. So we'll see just what happens here. It's quite smart play when you think about it. Drawing a little foul, you stay in the pool, and your mate in the sin bin doesn't actually miss that much of the game, especially for 1-minute penalties.
Well, France used the timeout here. Do you feel GB have got more into this half?
Well, it's sort of deja vu, or a mirror image of the first half, because the French started out the strongest in the opening half, right up until the point where they scored the opening goal, and then as soon as that happened, most of the possession and the territory was GB in the French half. Not to say the French didn't attack, but then coming out in the second half, the opening 5 minutes, all France, GB looking like they could concede a second goal, but ever since then GB have been down in the right areas, and they really need to start converting. They've got a man advantage, and 6-on-5 you can still defend very well. So the French will just try to control the game until Alexis gets back in, and GB are driving well down the central channel, and they just need to not get carried away, because a lot of the time they get forced and they're still swimming, and they swim into these corners, and it's such a hard place to score from. It is a narrow pool, so if you get the opportunity, you can flick it down the back wall and into the goal just after you've turned off the barrier, but it's still so much easier for you to defend if you put the puck on the back wall. And GB always seem to be getting into that final 5 metres and giving away a foul, and you can't really afford to do that, especially when you're chasing the game, because you lose time and you lose that 8 metres of territory. And it's going to be an advantage to GB, as Alexis Launay will be getting in at the start of play. So GB with the puck just past halfway. It's in the French half, and off they go.
Declan takes this and he's flicked it through to Matthew Dawson, but then straight away another infringement. It's going to be obstruction by a French player, and he's going to get sent. No, not a French player, it's the GB player, I think. Yeah. That might be the number 13, Jake Charnock.
No, it's not. It's number 7. It's Jackson Spry.
No. He's 1-on-1 sub for the one up top in this 1-3-2 formation. French are driving it behind this wall, but it's coming to the middle now. They had a foul. Call's going to go in favour of GB.
It's interesting, because we've got such a good home support, and obviously teams that are competing here will have their own games to prepare for, but this is one of the quietest followings we've had for any of the GB teams that have been competing here so far this week.
It is an early morning game though, so.
Oh yeah, it is, and as I say, with other squads, the girls are very vocal when they're there, and so are the under-24 boys. Well, all the GB teams are great at supporting each other, but when you've got to prepare for your first game, I think following this match we've got Great Britain versus South Africa in the under-24 women's division, so they're preparing for their game.
And then straight after that we've got the under-19 girls playing South Africa, I think.
So you've got to look at these schedules, and it is really hard for teams to prepare and get involved with the supporting of the teams, because there's slightly fewer teams than we'd hoped for here in Sheffield. But when it does get support, the GB following is incredibly loud. The under-24 men have really felt the dynamics of the crowd when they've been in their games, and it is really good when a decision goes your way and the crowd support really can act like the seventh man.
The GB had a good attack there, but the French got it back. But the French got it back again.
Vital knockdown there by the French number 4, Luc Michel. And that I think stopped what would have been a goal, because if it had gone past Loic, then it would have been a 2-on-1, and effectively the same as a penalty, with a player coming down from the service. They'd have had to make the tackle, and possibly GB's best chance of the game there.
We're into the last 3.5 minutes of this game now. GB going to have to find something soon if they want a chance to get the winner.
Good control by the GB player to go around the outside and stay outside. A chance to drive through the middle, the flick. Dangerous, can be flicking so close. And here's Kai Parkin. Kai Parkin gets the flick to the inside. Needs to be careful here, Kai Parkin. As it moves and it's gone into the goal. And we're going to look at what the referees say.
Giving the goal. And GB have got this goal with 3 minutes of the game left. And plenty of time to get an equaliser here.
Yeah,
not
good
an equaliser, a winner.
Yeah, good work there by GB. And Kai Parkin must have heard what I was saying, because the puck went onto the back wall. It wasn't Isaac Rhodes-Dawson. It was Kai Parkin with an excellent move. Going to the outside, the puck went onto the back wall, and he must have, as I say, he must have been listening, because he must have turned his stick and put it in legally, because you can't score goals with your glove.
That was very good work from Kai there. Very proud of him, making his Yorkshire A debut this year.
Mutual hit on the strike as Jake Charnock looks around to see where the puck's gone after the French player just got it to spit out to the side, and neither player really knew where it had gone. Good swim by the French, a good response to conceding that goal, but I think this is coming back to be a GB advantage. It is a stick infringement with no attempt to play the puck, so I think it's going to be another 1 minute time penalty for
2 minutes.
number 2. No, it's hat number
Is
2
it?
that was going out, so we'll just see what comes up on the screen.
GB
So
tried to flick it wide there, but it's popped straight back out. I was right, it is a 2 minute send out from number 2, Robin Delphine.
But France still on the attack, and with the situation we now get to the 2 minute stop clock. And GB have to make their way down to the other end of the pool. A good layoff. Maybe if there was space on the outside there, GB elect to go to the inside and where all the play was. I always find it difficult to describe which plays best between the wide and the open side and the closed side, or the best turns. As GB pick it up in space, and they have to swim here. A wasted flick by Isaac Rhodes-Dawson there.
There was absolutely nobody there. He would have done way better holding on to it or flicking it out wide.
Yeah, that was, in my opinion, that's incredibly lazy play by the Manchester player. You know, he picked up the puck and he had a player to the outside, and he needs to swim, and then get a pass off. Passing it out too early really cost GB there, because he wasn't looking. You know, if he gets his head up, he sees there's no point forward there, the one in the formation that Bernie likes to play. And then, you know, he had a right wing there, but the pass that he gave was just, there was absolutely no chance for that wing to do anything about that. And, you know, another great chance for GB squandered.
And Declan McNally's been sent out here. I don't see for what for. So it's going to be a 5v5 for the rest of this game.
France to try and bring it off the wall. GB, without their captain, such an influential player on the team. His leadership and his game control. Play being taken into the corner. GB have got to understand there's only 30 seconds left. The goal now is not to concede. You're not going to make it down to the other end of your pool. You've just got to manage the game. They'd be so negative if France were able to take it down their back wall to try and score. And GB now going through the rotations. You see the backs dropping down along the back wall. Now the centre. Two people
out of that corner there,
waiting, and yeah, the French trying to get out. 5 seconds. It's coming down the back wall, but just in time.
From the GB players there.
GB stop it, and it's going to be a final score of Great Britain 1, France 1. Opportunities for GB. They were unable to convert, but on the whole, a positive performance by the British team.
Yeah, I don't think they can be disappointed with that. The only thing Declan could do in the French goal was foul him. The penalty was probably the better option than letting the goal happen. But they did well to get the goal back and have this game finish 1-1.
Yeah, again, things to think about. You know, these boys have an enormous amount of talent and skill. You know, you can see just how well Isaac Rhodes-Dawson was able to flick the puck, but you can't have all those sort of styles and moves without being able to say, hey, this is what I can do with the puck. It's, you know, you can have a 2-3 meter flick, but if you're not going to flick it to somewhere where your teammate is, then what's the point? Because he flicked it forward and he didn't even follow it up himself.
No, I think that Isaac's flick there is a prime example of the sort of things you'll see on Live and Kicking tonight in the "What Were You Thinking" section.
Oh, maybe we'll have to see what Matthew Oliver thinks of that. But still a long amount, a lot of games to come today, and plenty of things we can possibly decide on for that little feature. But coming right up, we've just got to stop the stream and change over. But we've got the GB under-24 women who will be playing against South Africa, and I'm pretty sure that I'll be joined by Hein, the South African president of his federation, and I wonder if I can stop him from using some explicit language today, as he's a very, very passionate man. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.